They called her the Cemetery Angel, but she was just a young mom from Arkansas who refused to let people die alone. In the mid-1980s, Ruth Coker Burks was in her early 20s, raising her daughter on her own. She wasn't a nurse, she wasn't a pastor, she had no formal training. But she did have one thing: a family connection to a cemetery, and a heart that didn't flinch. She first walked into that hospital room by accident. A young man, dying of AIDS, alone behind a sealed door. No one would enter. Not the nurses, not his family. They were too afraid or too ashamed. So Ruth pulled up a chair and sat down. It's way too early in the video for me to start weeping. That one visit turned into hundreds. Hospitals often hesitated or refused care. Some funeral homes wouldn't accept remains. Churches closed their doors. Families stopped returning calls. And in that vacuum of fear and stigma around AIDS, Ruth stepped forward. She became a one-woman hospice network. She drove people to appointments, tracked down medications, sat beside them in their last hours, reading scripture or just holding their hand. And when they died, and no one would claim them, she claimed them. Ruth laid their ashes to rest at Files Cemetery in Hot Springs, where her family is buried. She says she interred the ashes of more than 40 people, though the exact number is disputed. But she dug the holes herself, marked each grave, spoke their names out loud. Love as infrastructure and memory as resistance. No formal funding, mostly community donations and ad hoc help. Just one woman acting as the system that failed. Over time, the story spread. Social workers called her directly. Nurses slipped her patient names. And in the shadows of fear, a quiet network of care began to grow. And years later, long after the panic faded, the graves remained. Roughly 2 to 4 dozen. Ruth says more than 40, but the exact number is unclear. And these people are remembered not with headlines, but with dignity. In 2025, it's tempting to think we've come a long way. But the truth is, stigma still kills. People still suffer in silence. From addiction and mental illness, homelessness, new diseases, old prejudices. And institutions still look the other way. What Ruth showed us is that courage isn't loud. It's not a speech or a protest. Sometimes it's just a quiet yes when everyone else says no. She didn't wait for permission to love people. And that's what made her unforgettable. So here's the question. Who are we leaving behind today? And what kind of love restores dignity? If someone came to you with no family, no name, and no time, would you still sit beside them? Would you still say yes? Let's talk about it in the comments. And if you know a story like Ruth's, please share it. Because dignity is contagious.